Alright, how's it going everybody? Welcome to my new YouTube channel. For you guys that don't know me, my name is James Sobchak, and in today's video, it's my first video, so we're kind of getting things figured out with my cameras and whatnot. We lost a lot of footage with my chest mount GoPro, but in today's video, we pretty much talk about November fishing in a whole, using some different rods, techniques, the main thing that I kind of focused on was be different than other people. What are people doing differently that I can do different? Try to catch those bigger fish. And so, yeah, we're just going to talk about the lake. So the lake that I fished, it's pretty much a giant, big flooded forest, You could be in 25 feet and there's logs still sticking out of the water. A lot of the water that I did fish and that I usually fish is in that 10 to 15 foot mark. It's a largemouth only lake. There's no smallmouth. And so there's a few different rods and techniques that I use. And in today's video, we fish pretty shallow too. I mean, I'm fishing 3 to 5 foot, which I've never fished that shallow at this lake. And so you guys will see what kind of keyed me in on fishing that shallow was actually one giant bite that I had. That sucked, but that keyed us in on, there might be some bigger fish in the area. Nobody really fishes down in this spot. One, because it's dangerous. It's really hard to get back into. Two, it's just not that time of year. You're fishing that shallow, but it keyed us in on a pattern, and we ended up sticking a 6, and then before that we caught that 6.5, which I thought was a 7. But yeah, so we're just gonna talk about some rods, reels, and techniques that I use, and especially my line. Line plays a pretty big factor at this lake. It's very woody, so you'll see in some fish catches I actually get hung up in some wood. But the line held up really good. We caught some good fish, and yeah. So the first technique that I want to talk about, I caught quite a few fish on. Nothing crazy big, but it kind of got the day going, is a little compact flipping jig. Many guys throw big 1 ounce or half ounce jigs, especially this time of year. I like to throw the little small 3/8 ounce, quarter ounce jigs, and I like to throw them vertically on the stumps, give them more of a finesse approach. So this isn't quite the jig I was using, but this is another setup that I have used, and it works really well out there. The setup I was using, which you guys will see during my fish catches and after every fish I catch, it was a 3/8 ounce tungsten Kitech flipping jig. It was in a brown color, and it had the Strike King Rage Menace on the back of it. And this is the rod I threw it on. It was a 13 Fishing Fate Black with a Lews Pro TI. This is 14-pound FC Sniper. So this rod, it's a moderate, it's a pretty light rod, and I like that light rod so I can work the fish a little bit more. This time of year, I'm not really swinging for the fence on the hook set. There's no really need. I mean, yeah, it's nice to get the hook in on, but with the small jigs, a lot of times I don't even feel the bite, so a lot of times I just pick up on the weight and I just give them a little tug, and I haven't lost fish in a long time. But that's the first setup I used, and pretty much I was casting vertically on the wood, giving it a lot of twitches, and then I'd kind of drag it a little bit, and that's when I'd feel the bite. Like I said, you're not really feeling the bite. A lot of it just felt like dead weight, and then I'd reel down, let my rod bend, and I just feel that one head shaking. I'm like, okay, that's a fish. Let's set the hook. You guys will see me. I'm like confirming if that's a fish or not, but yeah. So that's a great setup. I caught a lot of fish on that today. And then the second setup, this is what kind of got me keyed in on the shallow bite too, is it's a free rig. Not a whole lot of guys throw free rigs. They do, not necessarily here. Free rigs it's a pretty well-known bait, especially down south, and just, really anywhere else. I haven't heard a lot of stuff about free rigs in Washington. And what makes a free rig so special is the way it falls and just the approach that the bait gives. So when your bait falls, your weight hits the bottom first, and then your bait kind of just sits there and lingers in their face. Especially with this long worm that I have on it. It kind of just, flutters right there, and it gives a more subtle presentation, especially when these fish are finicky. I think that plays a big role in it, and a lot of times I kind of work it like a Texas rig. I like to give it a lot of pops and twitches, and so the weight gets down to the bait's head, and then I'll give it one long pop, and it kind of knocks that bait back up there, and then it will give them that wacky worm-like fall, where it's very subtle and just in their face. And I think the bait just sits in the strike zone a little bit longer. Like I said, these bass are getting a little bit deeper. The waters are almost at 49. It's 50-degree water temps is what my graph was saying. So they're getting colder, and they're getting a little bit more lethargic. So that bait was just in their strike zone a little bit longer. And I think that played a big role on the fish I caught. And pretty much the setup I have for this rod is, this is a Fate Black, this is a medium heavy, extra fast, and this is a Curado 201 HG with, I think this was 16-pound FC Sniper. So it's a light, not a lighter rod, but it's a little bit lighter, heavier than that, moderate. But it's just an overall, it's a good rod. And so the third setup that I use and what I caught my big on, I guess I caught the other big on that free rig, but is the other rig that I was working shallow is a Texas rig. I mean, everybody knows a Texas rig and how well they work, but that free rig, I always tell myself with the free rig is if they're eating a free rig, they'll eat a Texas rig. It's just, I work my Texas rig really slow, just like a football jig. I drag it down there most of the time. And so what I was using is, it's a 1/2 ounce tungsten weight. It's pegged with a Gamakatsu EWG hook with a Strike King Rage Craw. And they've been really keyed in on, if you see all my baits, I have that bright red, or not bright, but that dark bloody red. I think something with the Crawdads mulching that they're keyed in on this red. Last week I went out, I threw black and blue, green pumpkin, and I didn't have any results like I have on the red. So I think they're very keyed in on the red, and that's another thing to pay attention to, especially in the winter, is what color the crawdads are, and just mess with different colors, because eventually you'll find that color, and that color will significantly catch more fish than the other color. And how I was working this was I was bombing it up in, I was fishing a steep bank in a lot of shallow water, kind of like it's a big spawning flat, but they were moving up on the flat. So I mean, you'll see in some videos I'm pitching in, flipping in like pads or wood that was, I mean, 5'3", 2 foot of water, really shallow for this time of year, which, like I said, I never fished this shallow. And for some reason they were up there. You know, they don't need to leave. I mean, you'll notice you'll catch fish all year round, and I mean, I've caught many 5s, 6s, and even 7s all year round in some really shallow water. There's no reason for them to leave, especially if there's wood. That wood provides a lot of warmth, but pretty much what we were doing, we were casting this up in the shallow, we were dragging it, popping it, just like you do with a Texas rig, and we managed to hook into that big one. We lost a few big ones. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys watched it all the way through, and yeah, so it was great meeting you guys, and thank you for tuning in. Always big. It's all that big. Oh, there's fish number 1. I saw my bait, cast it on a piece of log, and I saw the fish come out, and then he just stopped. Hands don't work. Saw the fish come out and just hit it right on the fall. Yeah, fish number 1, probably 2.5, 2-ish. It's cold. Little dude. There's a little guy on the free rig. I watch him come down on it, and then usually a lot of times when I see them on live scope, I'll just turn my live scope away, because I do believe the ping has an effect on him. But just a little guy on the free rig. I mean, the free rig is absolutely deadly this time of year. I think part of it is the fact that you know, not a lot of guys are throwing it here up in Washington anyways. And it's not a new trend, but it's just something they don't really see as often as they do, say, a jig or a Texas rig. No way I'm getting bit in this spot. Right now we're on like a steep drop off. It goes 5 to 20 foot. And there's wood and grass up here. Oh, fudge. I was like, okay. Come on, fish. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's up in the wood. Wow, there he is. I knew there was a... Oh, come on. I knew there was a fish up in that stuff. Man, he was up shallow. There's a nice one, guys. This is a good 2-something. Can't even hold him. My hands are so cold. But yeah, that fish, I felt a whole bunch of like grass, rock. I mean, there's just a 20-foot drop off into 5 feet, which I'm power pulled down right now, and I was going through some wood, and then I finally felt pulled back. Finally got on the land. But that's why we got that 17 SC Sniper and the thick stuff, and that fish was probably in about 5 foot. No! God. Oh, that felt big. Oh. Dang it. There's another one on the jig, the Kitech. God, I can't even hold them. My hands are so cold. It's probably a good 3-something. That fish casted right up vertical to a log, and I just worked it very slow, and I popped it, got snagged it, felt like, popped it up. And then he hit it. That's a nice one. And this is that setup that I'm using. It's the little kite, the tungsten Kitech with the Dirty Fishing Fate, medium moderate, with the Curado. Great setup for this. And I mean, obviously the fish like it. Guy. Oh, stop. Freaking Kitech jig in the mouth, dude. Not very big, but a fish is a fish. That one he ate it on the fall. And that guy was also pretty shallow. That fish was in 10 foot. That fish was in grass, actually, not in wood. Hands are full, but there's another one. Another 2 or so. So that one, he's fishing in a really grassy area, and there's logs. I just casted right on the side of a log, fell down, I felt the weight. So they're up here shallow. I don't know, maybe they're feeding. I mean, water temp's still in the low 50s, so there's no reason for them to be super out deep, but I do believe that the big ones are out deep. But not bad. On that 3/8 ounce high-tech jig. That's a good one. Holy crap. Oh yeah, dude. That's the fish we want. Whew. That's a 6 or 7. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, that's an easy 7. Look at that, guys. Free rig in the mouth. Holy. Yeah. That right there is a good one. You know, earlier I was thinking, man, why did I leave that spot that I started this morning? Because I haven't fished this water in forever, but man, that fish made it completely worth it. Oh, man. Wow, he was right off this rocky point. A little bit different, but that right there makes it completely worth it. Oh my god. I knew they were shallow. Oh, that's a nice one, dude. Sorry about that big. Oh, dude. Look at that. It's November 2nd and we're up in 2 foot of water. Oh man, those 2 that are lost then. Wasn't 100% if they were fish, but this just confirms that I lost 2 giants. Oh man, they are up shallow. I mean, that just confirms that those 2 fish I lost, man, could have been that one that I snapped off on. Felt way bigger than the one I caught. I'll tell you that much, dude. That fish was big. Man, I was hoping we'd come back here and pick a big one, but I don't know. It's hard because you gotta stick to one thing because it's well, I was saying, I mean, I do have a feeling the bigger ones are deeper. But there's another shallow guy. I mean, 2 feet of water. Kind of speechless, but that's what I'm saying is, you know, they're still in the shallows all year round. But now we're a bit deeper. It kind of got a little bit deeper since that dock. We're in like 10 feet, but... Oh, that's a giant. Holy crap, guys. This might be a giant. Freaking giant. Holy crap. Alright. Holy crap. Oh my god. Just like what I was saying. That's another freaking pig, guys. Look at that. Oh. Shallow. Let's go, guys. That's another giant. God, that's probably what, 2 6s? I mean, look at that fish. The belly on that thing. God, get a picture. Jesus. As soon as I set that hook, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a fish. I mean, look at that. She just freaked that up. Oh man, I'm shaking. So that's what I'm saying is, like, don't be afraid to do stupid stuff. Like, I was not planning on fishing this shallow in November. And when you're not in a tournament, I mean, why not do stupid stuff? That was on the Texas rig. So, just a 1/2 ounce tungsten Texas rig with an EWG hook, Gamakatsu, with a Strike King Rage Craw. And I'm pretty much just dragging it, but have the hook in it, make it weedless. That's the setup right there. And then my combo is a 13 Fishing Fate Black with an X-Lux DC. This is a 151 HG. I mean, I'm mind blown. That's awesome, guys. Wow. We got a good bag going. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. I've got a new video coming out next week that you guys won't want to miss. Until then, take care and see you next time.